A couple of months ago, we redesigned the router lift. A couple of weeks ago, we reimagined the router table. Now, we're making an all-new, multifunctional, micro-adjustable, precision positionable router table fence. When you woke up this morning, you had no idea your life was about to change. But hey, that's what we do here at the Stumpy Nubs workshop. Welcome back. I'm Stumpy Nubs, this is Mustache Mike, and this is the exciting conclusion of our second 3-episode router table series. If you're new around here, the stash is going to get you up to speed.
Now, way back in 2012, when my lip hair was a little darker and Stumpy's belly was a whole lot smaller, we built a router table, a lift, and a fence. But then, as usual, Stumpy figured out a way to make them better. So we made a new router lift with built-in lower dust collection that also functions as a mini router table. Then we built a new larger router table to go with the lift, featuring a unique sliding top for safe routing of small parts and narrow workpieces. Now we're going to make a new fence.
We don't just keep him around for his pretty lip, folks. You can also run the table saw like Fred Astaire.
What?
Smooth. Fred Astaire danced. You're graceful with the...
You want me to dance on the table saw?
Just go cut the parts.
Want to look funny? Check out Stumpy's swag, where we have t-shirts, mugs, and more, inspired by Stumpy's unique and sometimes twisted sense of humor. All proceeds go to the production of more woodworking goodness at StumpyNubs.com.
Sometimes the perfect jig design just gets perfecter. Our original fence was a prototype, which is why it looked so particle boardy. But after a year and a half of use, it's time to rebuild it from some better materials. And if we're going to go to all that trouble, we may as well make a few improvements. Actually, I wouldn't call them improvements per se, which is French. It's more about making it easier to build, particularly the positioner. You see, we based the design on the wildly awesome Incra positioner, which uses interlocking teeth to achieve perfectly repeatable cuts. Here's how I explained it in the Days Before HD video. It has those perfectly interlocking teeth that are spaced every 32nd of an inch. What that does is create a positive stop everywhere you could ever want one. For example, let's say you want to set the fence like 4¼ inches from the bit. One time you may be a few thousandths under, the next time a few thousandths over. You may not pick it up with your eyes, but those kind of tiny errors add up over the course of a project, especially things like finger joints and other types of joinery. This thing, though, autocorrects itself. If you set it a little bit off, it will automatically adjust the teeth when it meshes together when you lock it down. You can't miss the mark. Even if you move it away and then try to get it back to the exact spot later on, it's going to be the same every time. I can't tell you how indispensable that feature is. To do that, we modified an $18 Incra depth gauge. Here's the problem with that. Those gauges are a little hard to find, and they cost $18. So I want to make our own version for this fence, using some inexpensive and easy to find parts. I think that will also give us a chance to add a micro adjust feature, which is something that the first version lacked. And I'd like it to be a little larger overall. So I guess you could say I've got my work cut out for me. Which makes me wonder how the stash is doing on cutting out those parts. I'm gonna go check it out. Be right back.
Help support woodworking infotainment by visiting StumpyNubs.com and checking out the plans for many of the projects we build on the show. And while you're there, sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss a thing.
All done. I think I'm in love.
The design is relatively simple, but the features are super impressive. You attach the fence to your router table via a pair of threaded inserts. The slots in the fence base allow you to adjust the zero position quickly and easily. Just fully extend the fence, then you slide the base back until the front lines with your router bit's cutter and lock it into place. Now your scale will accurately tell you the distance between the fence and the bit, no matter what type of cutter you're using.
A scale and cursor is nice, but you have to rely upon your eyes for accuracy. My vision might be 20/20 with these sexy specs, but Mustache Mike here has quadfocal pop bottles, and sometimes he needs help lining things up.
And I'm blind as a cat, too.
So I borrowed a feature from Incra, which also we employed on our box joint machine. Mating threaded rods provide positive stops every 1/16 of an inch. This replaces the modified depth gauge our first fence used. The best part is you can make a cut, then you can move the fence for a different cut, and return to the exact same position as the first cut later on. The teeth correct for even the tiniest of errors, making this the most accurate homemade rotor fence out there. And there's a knob on the back to micro adjust the fence and dial everything in.
With a 4-inch dust collection port built in, you'd think it would be impossible to cram any more features in this design. But you'd be wrong. If you replace one of the front panels with a 90-degree auxiliary fence and then mount the whole unit into the sliding position of Stumpy's new router table, you can create box joints and dovetails like a boss.
You're making me blush, Mustachio. You can use this fence on any router table, so I encourage you to check it out. If you want to support the woodworking goodness we produce here and over on our website, or if you just want to save yourself a lot of time trying to copy our design from the video, consider picking up a set of plans over at StumpyNubs.com. We really worked hard to make them easy to follow with step-by-step instructions, photos, a cut list, the works. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss any of the new big projects we have coming up. We're even doing a whole new series of old-timey woodworking episodes. Then you can sit back and have yourself a cold one. 'Cause you've earned it, my friend.